a little brush in the rear, but Johnson avoids the curbs, straight onto Shaw again, just behind these two, Talvite and Vinari going at it like hammer and tongs. And who's that? That's James Johnson off the track. James Johnson there off the track. What did he do? Let me have a Scooby-Doo look. Oh, he just too much. Yeah, he just put throttled down too much. A mini slide, and that's lost him to Vinari and Talvite, who now move into 10 and 11 position. James Johnson making more work for himself than he could ever have wanted. As Ben Crooks has had a poor lap last time by, and now the gap between him and Mike Simeon is just 1.2 seconds. Butendyk just 0.8 of a second further behind in third position, and that was why they was all lapping Rich Tranter. It just depends on the part of the circuit you get them at. This is what goes on as James Johnson alongside Talvite for 11 and 12 position. James Johnson takes 11th position from Tony Talvite, and that was down the home straight. And is he going to try around the outside of Vinari? No, he's not. But Vinari there, too busy looking at Adam Shaw, not looking at what James Johnson has done, as Mark A. Wilmington has crashed out of the race. Mark A. Wilmington has just crashed out from 16th position. That is a shame. Suspension failure for him. I assume it was a crash out anyway, because it's flagged up suspension. That was lap 12 though. So that was 12 more than what you thought you would do, Mike. So, Phil, I think you deserve at least one beer. However, back to the action at hand, and there is plenty of it. You're currently watching the battle for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th position, with 13th place Lee Ross now having joined in, as if you wanted any more cars going on. There are battles going on slightly further up front, as there you can see Mark A. Wilmington's bumper laying on the track, so that's where he met his demise in the final corner by the looks of it. As this is Johnson, well, he looked like he was having a go at someone. Ryan Callan is off the track again. Ryan Callan, 8th position, facing the wrong way in the gravel. Now, he told me before this race started, the gravel is lethal. I think he's just found that out, and obviously he wanted his car to go on a diet because it shed its front wing, and that is Ryan Callan now back in 13th position. So what has started off as what looked like a possible podium has now ended in, well, 13th position at the moment, and he's got an awful lot of work to do if he wants to do that. That has allowed James Johnson, though, up into 10th, and that is him being attacked by Talvite, and James Johnson off the track again and down into 12th position. Through goes Lee Ross, through goes Talvite, and James Johnson getting a taste of his own medicine as he gets speared off the track there, and action going on up and down the field. Let's also just oh, hang on, maybe not, because it looks like we're going to have another little battle down the home straight before we switch to the battle for 2nd and 3rd position. Shaw crosses the line in 8th. Now with a little gap there, Vinari is 9, Talvite having a look in 10th position. He's a little bit too far back, but he might have a little nosy pose down into turn 2 if he's feeling brave. No, he is not. Vinari feeling the need to go defensive there. And Lee Ross being overtaken in the background there by James Johnson, so another good move there. But here's Talvite down the outside of Vinari. That is a brave move, and Lee Ross trying to go around the outside of James Johnson as well. And Johnson there just runs him off the road. Lee Ross having to back out. Talvite and Vinari side by side, and Vinari, oh, tank slapper for both by Vinari. That's allowed James Johnson straight onto the back of him with Lee Ross. The battle for 2nd and 3rd between Simeon and Butendyk has opened up, so we won't cut to that. We'll stick with this. But Vinari, Johnson and Lee Ross now getting involved, and that is on the grass, Lee Ross. You're not going to overtake through that, my friend. And Vinari and Johnson Johnson there. Oh, wow. Fantastic battle from these lot. This is why we love sim racing. There's Lee Ross there giving a little bit of a nuzzle onto the rear of James Johnson, and Johnson won't be liking that one at all as they all cross the line. Just for a second, let me just swap back to the top just so that we remember who they are. Ben Crooks is still leading this race on lap 16 to 39. Pit stops will be coming up shortly, as I think Ryan Callan has gone off again somewhere. Where has Ryan Callan gone? Yes, he's down to 16th position and he's now a lap behind. Gregory de Grief is now 14th. Just to update you on his progress, he's passed Rich Tranter, and Ryan Callan is now 14. but Ben Crooks currently leads. Mike Simeon is second, 1.8 seconds behind. The gap toing and froing depending on what they're doing with traffic at the time, but Ben Butendyk is the quickest of the three, and Mike Simeon there very sideways into turn 2, and that is going to allow Butendyk right onto the back of him if he's not careful, as Talbot is off the track and has dropped, or as you know, Talbot is past Adam Shaw. Where did that happen? Maybe it's Adam Shaw that's gone off the track. And yeah, Talbot suddenly finds himself at 8. Shaw is now 9. Vinari all over the back of him in 10. Vinari going to have a look into turn 1. That is a brave man if you decide it. No, he thinks better of it. James Johnson smells an overtake going on. And fantastic. Oh, and Lee Ross there. Any more of that, and he might as well just mount the rear of James Johnson as they continue on. And oh, Lee Ross there, an opportunistic move and a little bit of bish bash bosh. But he takes 11th position. Vinari and Shaw side by side ahead, and that's another bit of bish bash bosh going on. And Lee Ross might find himself. Ooh! And that's James Johnson taking perfect advantage there, side by side, and Lee Ross there getting a bit of his own medicine there. He tried to rub off on the rear wing there of Vinari, lost his own traction, and James Johnson goes Yoink! And finally I can say it. James Johnson done a switcheroo. And that's him up into 11th position. Vinari now next on his list. Oh! James Johnson a little bit too eager there, and that will put him on his back foot down the straight, although Vinari there a little bit ragged on the exit. Adam Shaw holding them all up. Talbot is getting away, and they've now got to all traverse Rich Tranter, who is about to be lapped by the lot of them. Just a quick rundown of the order while you watch this. Ben Crooks still currently leads now by 2.1 seconds. Ben Butendyk is still 0.8 of a second behind and making not the impression he wants on Simeon. He can't quite get close enough. As look at Tranter there desperately. He can see like a gaggle of cars behind him thinking, oh my God. But he should slow down, just let them all through. Shaw, Vinari, Johnson, Ross, all together they've got 20 seconds almost over Martin Bolgin, who is about to be overtaken by Gregory de Grief. Adam Shaw and Yari Vinari off the track, and that was, well, Adam Shaw there gets it all wrong. They had Piotr Bazchuk off the track, and maybe Shaw saw it and went to go and slide off. Vinari innocently taken to the side of that, and Adam Shaw then spins off for good measure, nearly taken out by another car, and has dropped down to 12th position. Vinari down to 11. Ross has now dropped off Johnson. Talbot is next on his list, and that's an unfortunate end to what has been a classic battle. Gregory de Grief is now got Martin Bolgin all over the back of him. This is the battle for 13th and 14th, and this is important for Gregory de Grief. He needs to clear Martin Bolgin very quickly if he wants to continue his ascension up the order. We're on lap 20, and that's the way to do it. Martin Bolgin puts his pants and goes off onto the grass. Side by side action there. Gregory de Grief yoinks 13th position, that is now from Martin Bolgin, and every position is another point. He's got another 4 seconds before he catches up to Adam Shaw, so he's got some clear air now. Lap 20 of 39. What a fantastic race this has been. Ben Crooks currently leads by 2 seconds now by Mike Simeon. Ben Butendyk was right on his backside actually, but must have either tried a dive bomb move or made a slight mistake, because look at him, Butendyk, they're using all of the track and a little bit of some shrubbery on the side for third position. They've now got 10 seconds over Gary Lennon, who is driving a very respectable, very quiet and very efficient race in 4th position. He's not gone a Nippon. He'll be a very happy man if he stays in 4th position at this rate. Hanu Carasola as well. Unusually a very quiet race for him. 20 seconds off the pace, but running fantastically well in 5th position. Kevin Clark will be delighted with 6th place. Another very silent assassin race. He has still got Ivo Simmons on his radar though. The two of them have been lapping about a second apart from each other from the word go, but have kind of kept almost identical lap times all the time. So that's going to be an interesting battle for pit stopping and things like that, if pit stops are going to take place today. Tony Talbot is currently 8. Lee Ross is currently 9. James Johnson has made another mistake and dropped back into 10th position and is now closing down Lee Ross. Yari Vinari is currently 11. Adam Shaw is currently 12. Gregory de Grief is reeling him in at the rate of knots in 13th position. And de Grief now a minute off the pace, so he's not quite, obviously he's got a very damaged car, but he's not quite keeping up with the leader's pace. So he needs to, I think actually they've made a slight mistake somewhere. So he needs to keep that going, because as soon as he goes one lap down, he's going to really be struggling to kind of make the impression that he wants to, because he's going to have to be watching out for blue flags. One lap down currently in 14th is Martin Bolgen. 15 Ryan Callan, he's passed Rich Tranter for 16. For 15th position. Tranter is now down in 16. Then 2 laps down is Sylvan Meerlord, who is still running, and Piatek Blazchuk in not 20th position, 18th, and someone is going a bit awry. No, they're not. It's just Talbot, who's got a lag problem. Our 3 retirements so far are Mark A. Wilmington, Dan Higgins, and Michael Hart-June. So just the 3 retirements. I really thought there'd be more. So fantastic action as Blazchuk goes 3 laps down as Ben Crooks pops a lap on. Blazchuk, they're so... Ooh. I don't know quite what was going on there. Oh, Blazchuk disconnects. He'd gone onto the grass and then lost connection there. So Piatek Blazchuk was doing a sterling job there, trying to keep himself going, and has just disconnected from the race. And that is retirement number 4. So... down to 17 drivers now, sorry, beg my pardon, slap my body. Still 3 drivers very much in the running for the race. Ben Crooks is certainly not getting away from Mike Simeon, who has got Ben Butendyk now just 4 tenths of a second behind, and Butendyk, giving Simeon a little nudge and saying, hello, I've been here for a while, and I don't like this 3rd position. Well, 3rd is good, but 2nd is better, and I think Ben Butendyk has got some designs on taking it very shortly. Gregory de Grief has just overtaken Adam Shaw for 12th position, and Mike Simeon, I hope that was by computer, because that showed him on 2 wheels for a second, but he's okay now. But Butendyk is like stalking his prey, and Mike Simeon, I mean, he can afford to lose this position and not go out on a silly battle. I know Mike Simeon won't want that at all, but his main championship rival currently at the moment is Gregory de Grief. They're equal top on the standings with 89 points apiece. There's plenty of other drivers around, such as Ben Butendyk, although he didn't race last time out at Surfers Paradise. Ben Crooks is another man who's quite good as well, as Kevin Clark has gone off the track and dropped to 8th position. I didn't see quite what happened, but Talbot has just got round him. Oh, yes. Off the track he went. Naughty Kevin Clark. That's a shame. That's ruined, well, not ruined, but it's affected what has been another Clark race by him, because Ivo Simmons now finds himself 6th and Talbot now finds himself in 7th. That's a good ascension up the order there by Talbot, it has to be said. And that is Mike Simeon being severely held up by Rich Tranter, who gets punted off the road. And take that, Rich. And that has allowed Butendyk to get right alongside in the battle for 2nd and 3rd, side by side almost, over the flop into the final corner. And this is the best chance that Butendyk's had all race. He's taken a much tighter line into the corner to allow himself to be right onto the rear when they come out. They've got Adam Shaw right ahead of them, and I hope that he doesn't then go and start holding people up. Butendyk having a small little look to the left hand side, thinking better of it. Simeon's holding his racing line, he's got the confidence to do so. Butendyk straight into the offensive positions, sitting there waiting for the right opportunity. It's not going to be at this corner, he's slightly too far back. I think he might wait till see what Adam Shaw does, who they're going to lap. Shaw running a respectable 13th at the moment, after running as high as 8th earlier in the race. He's not a slow coach by any means, but it is so difficult to get round cars on this circuit. And Simeon there, well, that's an interesting drive, and poor little sponsorship board looking a little bit beaten and weary.